know there's more in you, but you cannot see it. There's a remedy, and I've got the strategy. It's time to turn your dreams into a reality. And I'ma help you. Got the time to. And I'ma help you. Got the time to.
Welcome back to another episode of Push Talk Podcast. This is actually part 2 to our guest, Jamie Miller, who is talking about the pivot, how to go from business to 9 to 5, pivoting back into the workplace. This one is good, you guys. If you haven't listened to part 1, stop now, go listen to it, and then come back and finish part 2 and let us know your thoughts. Find more episodes on Apple Podcasts and here on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. Hope you enjoy the episode.
Thank you. Now you've done all this and you're at this crossroads now because your business is going great. You've been doing it for 10 years. You've been able to create this foundation or nonprofit, I should say, where you're giving back to your community. So it's rewarding there. And then have this community of women that you're able to build up. And when I'm telling your story, Jamie, I feel like I'm talking to myself too, because I know we're both hustlers and doing so many things. Then you look in the mirror and you're like, man,
I'm exhausted.
There's something exhausted. And there's something still left that I need to do that may take me out of this space of entrepreneurship. First thing I would think is just fear. Like, how am I going to pivot from this that people known me for years, decade, right? And be able to say, now I want to do something else, or I feel like I need to do something else that's important for me right now. Like, what are people how are they gonna feel? How are they gonna take it? Are they gonna think I've given up on this small business? Will they think I failed? All those voices of the enemy come in our mind and bring fear. So I want you to talk directly to entrepreneurs or those who just have to pivot into something that may have not looked like what people would expect. Because sometimes we always talk about, like I said in the beginning, entrepreneurs building their business and leaving it and building their careers, learning from the 9-to-5 world and taking their business and soaring. But how was the pivot back? Can you share that piece? And as we're already looking, Jamie, over time, but I wanted you to share, what did you deal with? What feelings did you deal with? How did you get to a place of peace? Where are you at now? How is that? How were you strategic with even that move? Talk a little bit about that, and then we'll wrap up and tell people where they can find more of you and so forth.
Sure. So first of all, this has just been an absolute joy. I love sharing my story.
Thank you
because
so
I don't think many women or many people do, that are in the entrepreneur space, or just even personal battles that we're dealing with, in our professional careers as well as our personal careers. And so for me, and I'll even speak to kind of being that person that I'm a very private person. I'm not a secretive person, but I'm a very private person. And I also don't believe in bringing in energy that's not necessary for me. Because again, what's best for me will be for me. And I didn't share a lot of my journey as I was transitioning, but what happened during the pandemic in March of 2020, a lot of businesses shut down. Actually, we all know that everything shut down, right? And that scared a lot of my clients that I work with in small business. I had dentists, I had optometrists, I had, food service I was working with. So all these businesses had to shut down, and they were not sure of what was going to happen in terms of the pandemic and COVID. So what I had to do was then I had to pivot, and I said, all right, I still have to make income. I still have to live, I still have to provide. What am I going to do? But what was so wild about that question in my mind? Because I was not prepared or ready for what the next thing God was actually setting me up for.
Wow.
And that was to work more in my nonprofit. So despite having to shut down or slow down 518 for that time frame. He was also preparing me to do the footwork, the seed work, the planning work in my nonprofit. Before, I was only doing like a one-off event annually to just give away a scholarship, which was a basketball tournament. Then it led to, no, you're going to actually plant, seed, nurture, water this part of your organization, because this is your purpose. This is purpose work that you're doing. So as a servant, your service is your community and this purpose work. So 2 years, even this year, but mostly between 2020 and 2021, it was me building more out of the foundation, getting apparel together, doing work in the community. It was sharing more about my story and even what Project First is and what that looks like. Being a nonprofit founder, a Black-led nonprofit founder, and helping other people understand that when they think of nonprofit, they think of free, or it's not a business, but nonprofits are businesses. They're just structured differently. And which is another thing that we have to understand is a nonprofit is still a business. Yes, you can still have a salary in a nonprofit. Yes, you can still make money, but it's not for profit. It goes back to the organization. So having 518, having, Project First, and then saying, all right, now I'm in the second season of my life, or what I like to call, I'm on my second life. My second life is realizing that, hey, it's time for me to start a family, and it's time for me to have a lot more stability, because again, entrepreneurship, unless you're in a business that is full safe or foolproof, or I always think of two things, like funerals and like accountants, because those are banks, those are things that, we have often. But with my business and marketing, especially for small businesses, if the small business is not doing well, they're not going to have the funding or the income to pay me. So then it looks like, if all of my businesses are closed down, or they stop making or generating revenue for profit, then they can't pay me for the services that I'm providing for them. So that started to get a little shifty in my life. And I said, well, sometimes, it's the invoice that might be 30 days past or 60 days. And just hypothetically speaking, and I'm saying that, okay, this is not the way that I want to look at stability, right? So I started the journey of revamping my resume. I had never thought about revamping my resume throughout my entrepreneurship journey, because I was, doing my own entrepreneurship with clients. So I had to get my resume revamped. I had people looking at my resume to even see what was happening in marketing, to where it would make me, I'm trying to think of the word.
Competitive edge.
Yeah, like competitive, like approachable. Like, am I even in or speaking the same language as marketing, applicants now? Because again, I've been 10 years removed from the job world, so I don't know what that looks like. Like, does that make me be a viable client with my current resume? And it did not at all, because it was so outdated. So I had to go back and I had to formulate the wording to make it, up to date. Basically, everything had to be updated. And when I say that the journey to submission, when it came to job seeking, was very mentally exhausting. And that's because I'm such a person that feels like if I work hard enough, I'm going to get exactly what I want. We all should believe that, right? But again, you think of that as the I get what I want type thing. But then it also becomes, what is truly for you is not going to pass you. But sometimes what you think you want is not really what's supposed what you get, right? I don't want to say suppose, but it's not what you get. What you think you want, God already knows what you get, right? So that journey was 8 months.
Wow.
Not gonna lie to you. I started applying for jobs and submitting my resume in maybe March of 2021 last year. And for companies that I just knew I had it, because I mean, why not? I'm Jamie. Like that was just my thought to it. Taking a bet on me. I've taken a bet on myself all these years. This will be a piece of cake. This will be a cakewalk for me to get back into corporate, right? I just knew within the first couple of submissions that I was going to get an offer letter, have this big, robust salary that I was waiting for, just ready. It was not happening. I was getting to, and then, I had to understand there's third round interviews that you get to, and then they finally make a decision. And I had never seen any of this. I was so used to going into a job interview, doing the interview. They either hire me on the spot, or they're giving me a call and saying, welcome to the company. But no, this was, you got to set up your initial meeting with your HR recruiter, and then you go into the rounds of meetings, and not realizing that there's so many other viable, applicants out there that are pitching for the same job as you. So fast forward, it took me 8 months. And then I honestly was saying, I'm not going to give up, but maybe I need to slow down and figure out, what is God trying to tell me about me getting back into corporate and where I need to be. So I took a break, and I felt like I was in this emotional relationship with this one company, because every job that I kept applying for, we were in a situationship to where I would get, like the initial interview and the congrats, we want to push you along, and you meet with this manager. And the final straw for that company for me to finally cut my strings was, I was scheduled to do an interview, and neither the manager showed up to the interview. I was in the holding room by myself. And when I emailed my recruiter to say what happened, it was basically just like they dropped the ball and knew they dropped the ball, but they didn't try to rectify the situation. So at that point, I said, well, that's the red flag in showing maybe that's not for me, right? Not saying that the company may have been bad, but that company that I wanted to be was so bad, maybe it wasn't the right fit for me. Did a few more interviews, and finally I landed the interview with the company that I currently work for, and I absolutely love it. I love it to the point where I told my team, my management, you guys are going to have to, drag me out of here, because I'm never leaving. Like, they are really big on, support. They are big on identifying and making sure that the employees are happy. They've created workspaces where it's open format, floor format, to where, you get to choose a day you come in and work, or, it's just all across the board. To me, I'm glad that I waited and reset, because the company that I was, seeing myself with, and the work that I thought I would be doing, this is the work that I know it was created, exactly for me. The alignment is what I want to say. So where I thought I wanted to be versus where I am, the alignment is what all puts it in perspective, right? So I'm a senior marketing consultant for the company that I work for, which means that I consult with the firms and provide marketing for them. So whether that's billboard advertising, creative campaigns, social media, and the beauty in that is it's the exact work that I was doing in my company for 518, that now I can transition and be more stable, because salary, and benefits, because that's something that other people don't talk about, is when you're an entrepreneur, those benefits when it comes to, physical, dental, vision, it gets pretty pricey, or typically some entrepreneurs don't have it at all. They go years and months without actually having those benefits to support them. So it all came together in July of this year. Because again, I started last year. Remember, I started last year in March, and it took me up until July, which was my first day at work. But June is when I got hired, end of June. But it took me from March 2021 to June 2022 to actually land a role, have an offer letter, accept it, and begin work. Yeah, just recently hit my 2-month mark there. And again, I absolutely love my team. I love the work I do. And it all stems back from, one, me betting on myself, but being mentally prepared and speaking life over the position that I desired, and being prepared for that, so that when I got into that role, it was an easy transition and a pivot, and not something that I felt like I was doing it because I needed the money, or I just got to work somewhere. So
I love it, Jamie. It's like God held that position for you till you were mentally, spiritually, emotionally ready,
physically prepared for it.
Everything. And like, you already knew it. God is so amazing, because you already had the skill set. Like, it's something that we can kick and scream as kids, like, I don't want this. I wanted this company. They left me hanging, but I still want them.
Yeah.
But he's like, if you just wait, I have something here.
He says, wait on it always.
Yeah, but you just have to wait, and you don't want to see what I have, and I don't want you to go there and mess that up because that's what I have. So it's such grace, that you were able to, understand more of what your purpose was. And now that this position came, it doesn't even feel like work.
No,
you're doing
not
what you were always supposed to do. It's so in alignment, and you're still able to have these amazing projects and company that you have, the 518 group project first, dear sisters, all these things are still there, but you're just pivoting, for this season and however that looks like. And you'll be surprised. I always tell people too, your company may say, we want to push what you're doing too. When when you get to, we're not like, oh, we still young, because 30s is the new 20s. Okay, so let me not say, just say when you start to get older, you really look for what is important in a job. And when you do have to go back to that space as an entrepreneur, or anybody listening who's pivoting and changing careers, you really know what you want and what's the best fit for you. So I know this journey that you're on and this pivot that you made as a entrepreneur back to 9 to 5 sounds successful. And I'm just excited that you have found right where you need to be in this time of season. And wink, wink, I think the family part is, the time. That's why you
yes, he also said, let me prepare you, child, for this family and these kids that are coming. So that was another part of being more strategic about my move, was that I can be selfish in my 20s and my early 30s with it just being me. But if I have an actual family to provide or support, then you want to have some structure and something there, right? You just can't fly by the seat of your pants. So thankfully I was not stubborn, because that's a trait that typically the Taurus that we have is so stubborn. The beauty in that also is that my life partner, soon to be, like, he's also my same sign. We're same birthday month. We're literally 9 days apart, but a year 9 days apart.
What's his birthday?
May 9th.
May 9th. Oh my God. I'm May 9th too, so I'm excited.
May 9th. So because of that, we talk about what life looks like moving forward, and that stability, and not being stubborn, and just allowing things to happen, when they align, right? And not just trying to plan so much, but again, still have a plan in place, just like for family, because there is a difference. Not always trying to plan and control, but still having some type of structure in place.
Wait, okay, so hold up. Let me rewind back. May 9th. Are we talking about who you just were telling me?
Yes.
Wait, hold up, y'all. Okay,
I didn't know that you didn't get the connection.
I didn't get the memo. Okay. Look, y'all, let me tell you. Okay, we're gonna have to put a pause here on this pivot. This here, Jamie, she want to go by the beat of her own drum. But since college, that should have been her person. Okay, I'm gonna just tell y'all right now. So she just was stubborn, okay, as a main person, don't want to follow. Look at, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. We're gonna have Jamie come back with her life partner, because Push now, Jamie, because her life partner, me and him go way back too. So Push is now, we do life style episodes, like just talking about life, and as well as because it's business, business, career, and beyond. And we want people to also know about life. So now we have to have you guys back for part 2 or part whatever. That we went over time, so part 3. I would love for you guys to come.
He's a podcaster too. He does podcasts, so he would. Oh my gosh,
I'm so happy for my friend. Oh my, I could scream, but I'm trying to hold myself together.
I'm sorry I didn't say that like when we first started. I thought that me just mentioning that. Like,
no, you sure did not. And y'all been so close forever. So I'm thinking,
he's been my friend since freshman year.
That's I'm like, girl, bye. I knew that was there, but I said,
Yeah,
they don't want
complete
to see
friends
that's your
first
favorite.
before we
Yeah.
dated. We actually started dating last December of 2021.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Thank you.
I am so excited. I feel like got to call everybody. Jay, I got to call this person. I got to call Ari. I got to call.
They all know. That's
Wait, so
why
I'm
you
the
and I
last one
gotta
to know.
catch up.
See, be all the way in Minnesota. I'm the last one to know, y'all. Just because I'm not a soror, okay? I'm still a friend.
You will not be the last to know moving forward. I promise you.
You see,
This
but
was the
I'm
reason
bad.
why we connected today.
You
Absolutely.
see, my problem is I stay in this world over here. I need to get better, y'all. We're staying catch up with my JCSU folks, but we connecting today, so
Absolutely.
we gonna talk about this. But Jamie, I'm just so thankful, like your journey, your story, like your heart at what you do. It just makes me so blessed to call you a friend, a sister. I really just admire everything, and it's so much of a reflection because I know this everything you're saying today. I need to hear because I know what that's like. Like, it's the pivot can be scary, but you did it so well because you were obedient, and obedient is better than sacrifice.
Yeah.
Look at where you're at now, and there's so much more to come with all these things you're doing. So before we go, I want you guys to please check out Support Project First. This is a amazing nonprofit. Jamie, I know they can donate. Let us know. Is there anything coming up you want them to know? I know you just finished back to school, so you probably don't have that now. But for donations, anything else you have coming up that they can know about for Project First, or even Dear Sisters? Well, Dear Sisters we talked about, but just 518 group. And where can they find you? I'll put up your social media now. But anything you want to leave us with regarding those, and just for those who are in that place of crossroads to pivot, just a last goodbye
final thought. Yeah.
Final thought. Yes, that's a better word to say.
So I start with the final thought because that's definitely always important when I'm speaking on platforms and podcasts, is that what your journey looks like to you is strictly for you. Anyone else that has a perspective about it, let that be their perspective, because that will always project onto you and make you feel like you're not, adequate in what you're producing, right? That was something that I had to mentally digest and understand, is that from the outside looking in, yes, I'm hustling, I'm working, everything looks great, but I'm tired. Internally, I'm tired. And if I'm tired internally, then that means externally, I cannot produce the work that God has, instilled in me to perform or to do. So whatever your journey looks like to you, let it be for you. You don't even have to explain it. As long as it's helping you, excuse me, to become the person that you're pushing to become, be that. Whether you have a family or kids to support, let that be a part of the circle and the push and the pivot. Everyone else does not matter in that regard, because again, it's about you and it's for you. So what's for you will not pass you. Okay.
Love it.
And people have to understand that, because I battled with that for so many years of being all to others and nothing to myself. Meaning that I'm such a person of service. I'm always willing to help or reach out or try to do things for other people to help them, progress forward. But it was like, what about me? Like, what am I doing for myself? So I want to leave you with that for sure, that whatever the pivot or the transition looks like for you, let it be for you. And hopefully you can block out or protect, right, your peace in knowing that whatever this is, I don't have to explain it to you. Just understand that I'm doing what's best for me. And that's where you leave it, right? And so the other part to that is, right now I don't have any big things coming up, because again, I just celebrated and I'm celebrating 10 years of service this year through Project First. We did a huge back to school event where we made it community oriented, provided all types of resources for our community, where it came to breastfeeding, to COVID testing, or diabetes testing, to other organizations that partner with me so that they can get support and notoriety.
Love that.
To ending it with a skate jam. So our babies, we did free skating for our kids from 6 to 9, which was amazing. So they get school supplies from 4 to 6, and then they skated from 6 to 9. So again, we talked about resting and resetting. So I told myself no more service work for the rest of this year, because I literally started in February, March of this year and planned various things, every month up until last month of August. So from my September until December, is my time of rest, of resetting, and refreshing for what 2023 will hold. And for 518, this past weekend prior to, I did a art exhibition. So I helped a beautiful, talented young lady present her first art show. So it was Singing in the Dead of Night. Her name is Teresa. She had herself and I think it was between 7 to 8 other Black female artists that did a show. So if you are in the Charlotte area, her exhibition runs until the end of this month at the Charlotte Art League in Charlotte, and it's called Singing in the Dead of Night, Sit Down. So all Black female featured. Please go. It's an amazing show exhibition. I'm an art lover, which I'm grateful for, because I pray one day to have a gallery in my home. To purchase my first art piece soon. So 518 is still going. I'm still thankful and blessed that I've built that stability in the 10 years for people to actually say, we want to work with your company. But as of right now, the full focus, of course, is on my corporate and that management, right? Because it's not really balanced. Balance is subjective, but managing, transitioning out of being a full-time entrepreneurship and having that flexibility and freedom to being in a corporate structure where you still have flexibility and freedom, but it's just set up different, right? So that's a lot of what I have going on, but always open to anyone wanting to support our organization. We do mentorships for our males in the community. We did camping for them, like first experience for camping. We did swim lessons for our kids. Swimming is a life skill. So this year we did swimming for about 20 kids to learn just the basic, skill set to swimming. But again, I'm always welcome to any and everyone who wants to support. Because again, just because it says nonprofit does not mean that it's for free. We still have things that we have to take care of on our end.
Exactly. And I'm telling you, this is amazing. So I want to thank you, Jamie. Thank you all for listening and watching. If you want to be a guest on Push Talk Podcast and you have some amazing work you're doing, reach out to us at info at pushstrategist.com. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, share if you know somebody who really needs that push towards their purpose. And we look forward to seeing you guys next episode. And let's look out for part 2 with the second half here that will be joining us, my fellow birthday buddy. But thank you, Jamie, again. And thank you, listeners. Thank you for supporting us and keep pushing towards your purpose.
You're absolutely welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ose, for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. Bye, guys.